Hello and welcome to the channel, everyone. In this podcast, I will be sharing my experience about building a startup. Almost 3 years ago, I participated in a college level startup competition, and it was organized by our tech community called TechnoHub. I don't really clearly remember the name of the competition, but what I got there was an exposure to the CXO people, the vice president, the chief information officers, and you name it. So, what was my startup? My startup was called Aeropress Edu Ventures, and it basically focuses on teaching. And the problem statement what I was dealing that time was the cost of education was going substantially high, and it was very difficult to maintain such high demanding teacher. Not everybody was able to afford that quality of education, and you know there was a gap what I identified. To solve this gap, I figured out a method, and in my method what was unique was this was a kind of a buddy approach where, for example, somebody who is in class 10th needs coaching or guidance in mathematics. We will hire teachers those who are in currently their first year or their second year of engineering or BSc, who have a good command in mathematics. We'll conduct a test followed by an interview, then followed by an offer. Now, that particular individual who needs coaching will get a teacher of relatively better quality and at lower price. The salary will be paid on the number of hours the educator spent on teaching that student. You know, so what was the benefit out there? So the student was getting benefited because he or she was able to afford education at much lower price. In the meanwhile, the college going student was getting benefited because they are able to earn some pocket money which will help them to pay their canteen bills or probably their fuel expenses. So that was my problem statement. After I got the certificate on the award for that. By the way, the book which I got is very special and I still keep it by myself, and it was Freakonomics. So, anyways, moving ahead. After I got that award, I decided to scale up my startup. And then I identified few people in my college itself. Uh, like there, we were total 10 people, and I was leading the operations part of it. Now, unfortunately, in long run, my startup did not go well. Now, turning back, I realized that, and it was good that it did not went well, because like after working at Collabra, I realized that how proper structuring is done, how proper teams are functioned. you know so even in future, if I plan to start a startup or do something like that, now at least I have an idea how to keep the team structured. See, getting employees is not a big challenge in markets like India, where we have a huge number of people and we have huge number of customers. It's very easy to find a good employee fitting to your criteria. And the same time, if your product is very pocket friendly and your product serves a general or a genuine problem solved, then people are readily able to buy it. One such example is Physics Wala. However, it has one major loophole which we will discuss in some other time. So, where was the area where I failed? Number one, the process of identifying people went wrong somewhere. They were just desperate to make money, and apart from that, they were not getting any kind of support from their parents. However, there was one guy who was very dedicated. The winters, we started our first lectures on winters, and that time temperature used to hit around 8 degrees in the morning. So that guy used to come to that 8 degree just to teach. That was really remarkable. However, other people were not that dedicated. They were just treating this very casually. And eventually, I lost the drive. Now, some people might comment on that you are the leader, you cannot lose the drive. But man, if my team people are not very much motivated, I get a negative vibes from them. Even I feel like, why should I waste my time on this kind of people? Because what I believe, if you can do a trick once, you can do that again and again, because you have cracked the idea to how to do that trick. If you can solve a complex differential equation once, it's very likely that you can solve it twice and thrice, because you know how the tricks, you know the shortcuts. Anyways, I also decided to find a job for myself. Now, jotting down to today, I still feel that whatever happened for the good. And if life gives me a second chance for startup with some good money, and by the time I have some good expertise, probably I will try to explore myself in some other domain. Right now I'm in the staffing domain, so I understand how the staffing business works. Although I don't have any plans to make any kind of US firm or any kind of recruitment firm, I will be exploring the other sectors. But how to manage a team in a total, you know, what is the role of communication, what is the role of hierarchy, is something what I learned. Thank you so much for listening to this podcast, and I wish you have a good day. Bye bye.